Maybe cheating is exactly what your marriage needs. Olivia said it between laughs like she had rehearsed the sentence in front of a mirror. The room erupted right after. Wine glasses lifted. Vanessa slapped the kitchen counter hard enough to shake the bowl of pretzels beside her. Finally, she said, "You're starting to think like a woman with options." I stood outside the mudroom doorway holding a large pepperoni pizza that had already gone cold in my hands. $22.40. Extra cheese. Thin crust. Friday ritual for 8 years straight. I remember the exact number because my brain locked onto it instead of the sound of my wife laughing at the idea of betraying me. People talk about rage like it arrives all at once. Mine moved slower, cleaner, like a banker closing an account line by line. Olivia sat cross-legged on the couch wearing the gray sweatshirt I bought her during our trip to Nashville. Vanessa leaned back beside her with divorce papers practically stitched into her personality. 2 other women from Olivia's Pilates group crowded the love seat. Every one of them divorced. Every one of them suddenly an expert on marriage. Daniel's too comfortable, Vanessa said while swirling Cabernet around her glass. Men panic when they feel replaceable. That's how you wake them up. Olivia smirked. You think I should fake something? Vanessa laughed harder. Fake? Honey, half the women in this neighborhood already flirt with your husband at block parties. Use that. Make him feel pressure for once. My fingers tightened around the pizza box until grease soaked through the cardboard. 3 months earlier, Olivia started guarding her phone like classified military intel. 2 months earlier, she opened a separate checking account under personal wellness expenses. I found that out because I manage every tax document in our house. 1 month earlier, she changed the password to our shared iPad after 13 years of using our anniversary date. I noticed patterns for a living. Procurement analytics at a medical supply firm trains your brain to catch inconsistencies fast. Vendor fraud. Duplicate invoices. Small shifts in purchasing behavior. Marriage runs on patterns too. Once those patterns crack, the whole structure starts talking. I swear, Olivia said while brushing hair behind her ear. Sometimes I wonder if Daniel would even care. Vanessa leaned closer. Then test him. Silence hit me harder than the cheating suggestion itself. Because Olivia never defended me. She never pushed back. She sat there absorbing every poisonous word like someone starving for permission. I stepped backward before the floorboards could expose me. Set the pizza box on the garage freezer. Open my banking app. Joint checking. Savings. Brokerage account. Home equity line. Calm settled into my chest with terrifying speed. 4 years ago, I created a secondary investment account under a separate LLC after my father warned me about asset exposure during probate court. Olivia signed the formation paperwork without reading a single page. At the time, she trusted me completely. Tonight, that trust became leverage. I walked upstairs quietly and opened our home office laptop. Olivia used Chrome. Chrome synced everything automatically if you knew where to look. Search history. Save passwords. Device locations. Hidden tabs. Most husbands hunt for lipstick stains or hotel receipts. I searched metadata. 7 minutes later, I found a rideshare receipt from a downtown rooftop bar charged Tuesday at 11:48 p.m. Olivia told me she stayed late for a marketing presentation that night. Another click pulled a deleted Gmail draft addressed to someone named Ethan. Half-finished sentence. Last night felt reckless in the best way. My jaw locked. My pulse slowed instead of rising. That scared me more than the message itself. Downstairs, the women exploded into laughter again. Then I heard Vanessa say 6 words that changed the entire shape of my marriage. You have no idea who Ethan is. Olivia walked into our bedroom at 11:12 that night, carrying a glass of lemon water and wearing the same relaxed smile she used after work conferences. The pizza place mess up your order again? She asked while plugging her phone into the charger beside the bed. Casual. Light. Controlled. I sat at the edge of the mattress folding receipts into a small stack. Something like that, I said. She nodded once and disappeared into the bathroom. 10 seconds later, I heard her humming. That sound almost broke me more than the message draft. Because people imagine betrayal as dramatic. Most of the time it looks organized. Efficient. Scheduled between grocery runs and streaming subscriptions. I opened my laptop again the second the shower started. Olivia used the same 4-digit PIN for years before changing it 3 months ago. Most people create passwords from emotion. Pets. Birthdays. Dead relatives. Olivia built hers around ambition, promotions, salary targets, numbers that made her feel powerful. I tried her latest bonus amount from the marketing firm. The phone unlocked immediately. My stomach tightened hard enough to blur my vision for half a second. Then training kicked in. Screenshot first. Emotion later. I moved through her apps carefully. Banking. Email. Archived text folders. Hidden photo vault. She cleaned her device often. Deleted message chains every Friday. Cleared cloud sync twice a month. Vanessa definitely coached her through operational security because Olivia never thought like that before. Then I found the pattern. Uber receipts matched gaps in our shared credit card timeline. Small charges. $12, $18, $26 downtown. Every trip landed within 3 blocks of the same rooftop bar called Ember Room. For visits in 6 weeks. Tuesday nights almost every time. Her calendar labeled those nights late client dinners. I opened our brokerage account next. $7,000 moved from joint savings into her personal account across 3 separate transfers. Rounded numbers always reveal planning. Emotional spending leaves chaos. Strategic exits leave symmetry. Olivia prepared for something bigger than flirting. I pulled tax returns from our encrypted folder and reviewed asset structures line by line. House deed under joint ownership. Retirement balanced. Investment LLC isolated under my management authority. Good. For years earlier, my father pushed me to create operational separation after watching my uncle lose half his construction company during divorce litigation. A clean ledger. Protects your future, he told me over bourbon one Christmas Eve. At the time, Olivia laughed at the paperwork and called my father paranoid. Tonight, his paranoia looked prophetic. The shower shut off upstairs. I locked my screen and leaned back just as Olivia stepped out wrapped in a white towel, skin flushed from steam, phone already in her hand before she even reached the dresser. Addiction. That was the word for it. Her eyes checked notifications before checking me. Tiny detail. Massive truth. Vanessa says we should all do Napa this fall, she said while typing rapidly. Girls trip. I watched her thumbs move. Fast bursts. Pause. Smile. Another burst. My voice stayed level. Sounds expensive. Olivia shrugged. Life is short. There it was again. That language. Every divorced friend in her circle talked like happiness required destruction first. Burn the old life. Chase adrenaline. Rename recklessness as empowerment. I used to think those women hated men. Then I realized something worse. They hated stability because stability exposed their own failures. Olivia climbed into bed beside me and rested her hand on my arm, like muscle memory performing a routine. You okay? She asked softly. I looked at her face for a long moment. Same green eyes. Same freckles near her left cheekbone. Same woman I carried through the front door after our wedding in Charleston 12 years earlier. Yet somewhere along the line my wife started auditioning for strangers instead of building a life with me. Long week, I said quietly. She kissed my shoulder and rolled over. Her phone glowed again at 11:47 p.m. She grabbed it instantly. I pretended to scroll sports scores while watching the reflection in our dark television screen. One message appeared across the glass clearly enough for me to read 6 words before she tilted the phone away. Ethan, next Tuesday. Same hotel. Same room. Sleep became performance after that. Olivia curled against me around 2 in the morning with one arm across my chest, like muscle memory could still imitate loyalty. I stared at the ceiling calculating timelines instead of counting hours. Tuesday. Same hotel. Same room. That sentence replayed inside my skull with mechanical precision. People think betrayal destroys clarity. Mine sharpened it. By sunrise, I already built a framework. Evidence first. Exposure later. Emotion at the very end, if any remained worth spending. I reached the office before 7 carrying a legal pad instead of breakfast. My department handled vendor compliance for 6 regional hospitals, which meant I spent most days tracing fraud patterns hidden inside ordinary paperwork. Human beings repeat behavior long before they confess to it. Affairs work the same way as embezzlement. Tiny deviations. Adjusted schedules. Unusual cash movement. New routines protected by emotional theatrics. I opened a private spreadsheet and started mapping Olivia's timeline against bank records, rideshare logs, and shared calendar entries. Tuesday dinners. Thursday Pilates. Saturday wine nights with Vanessa. Every category carried gaps. 43 minutes here. 90 minutes there. Enough time for deception. Around 10:30, my phone buzzed with a text from Olivia. Lunch with clients. Home late tonight. Attached smiley face. I stared at that yellow circle longer than I should have. 12 years of marriage reduced to punctuation camouflage. I replied with a thumbs up emoji and forwarded her message directly into my evidence folder. Then I called someone I had not spoken to in almost 3 years. Mason Caldwell speaking. Same calm voice. Same sharp edge underneath it. Mason handled my uncle's divorce litigation back in 2019. The man dissected financial manipulation like a surgeon removing tumors. I need a consultation, I said quietly. He paused for half a second. Marriage trouble? Potential asset exposure. That answer earned a low chuckle. You learned from your uncle after all. We scheduled a meeting for Friday at 6. Off record. Private office. No paper trail through reception. I spent the rest of the afternoon auditing every joint account tied to Olivia. Streaming subscriptions. Credit cards. Retail purchases. Sephora charges climbed 30% over 2 months. New dresses appeared before every Tuesday client dinner. Hair appointments increased. Fitness studio upgrades. Transformation. Spending. Vanessa coached her into reinvention first. Affairs rarely begin in hotel rooms. They begin in identity shifts. By 4:15, I uncovered something uglier than the messages. Olivia accessed our home equity portal twice during the previous month. She downloaded payoff estimates and refinancing documents while I sat 30 feet away in the same house, believing we still shared a future. My chest tightened hard enough to force me out of my chair. She was planning exits now. Strategic ones. I closed my office door and pulled security logs from our shared cloud account. Olivia forgot one thing during her digital cleanup routines. Device synchronization archives location metadata automatically every 14 days before compression. Most people never notice the feature exists. I exported the file onto an encrypted drive and scanned coordinates manually. Ember Room rooftop bar. Downtown parking garage. Marriott Executive Suites. Then another location appeared 3 times during lunch hours over the last month. A residential address in Westfield Heights. Quiet suburban neighborhood 15 miles east of downtown. My pulse slowed instantly. Affairs grow roots once private residences enter the equation. Hotels cost money. Houses create comfort. At 5:52 p.m., I ran the property address through county tax records. Owner listed, Ethan Cole. Single. 38 years old. Senior sales director at the same pharmaceutical marketing firm where Olivia worked. I leaned back in my chair staring at the monitor while a cold realization settled over me piece by piece. Ethan was not some random mistake from a girl's night. This man sat inside her professional world every single day. Shared meetings. Shared lunches. Shared office politics. Shared secrets. Then another document loaded across my screen and changed the balance of power completely. Olivia's name appeared inside Ethan Cole's emergency contact records tied to a corporate charity registration filed 6 weeks earlier. Friday arrived carrying the kind of clarity that strips emotion down to numbers. I spent the morning moving pieces quietly. Payroll deposits rerouted into my personal operations account. Shared credit. Card limits reduced under the excuse of fraud protection upgrades. Automatic transfers paused. Every adjustment followed legal guidelines Mason once taught my uncle during asset preservation strategy sessions. Slow moves survive court scrutiny. Emotional reactions create evidence against you. Around noon, Olivia sent another smiling text. Dinner with Vanessa tonight. Girls only. 3 heart emojis followed. I stared at the screen long enough to notice something strange. She stopped using my nickname 2 months ago. Tiny changes reveal emotional migration before anything else. Pet names disappear first. Then routines. Then loyalty. I opened LinkedIn and searched Ethan Cole directly. Corporate smile. White teeth. Tailored navy suit. Senior sales director. University of Arizona graduate. Former regional athlete. Every picture screamed polished confidence built for boardrooms and rooftop bars. Then I found the detail that shifted something inside me. Ethan followed Vanessa on social media. Frequent likes. Comments going back almost a year. That meant Vanessa knew him before Olivia ever mentioned his name inside our house. The setup suddenly looked coordinated instead of spontaneous. I printed every connection timeline and slid the papers into a manila folder before leaving work. Mason's office occupied the second floor above an accounting firm downtown. Heavy oak desk, soft yellow lamps, framed degrees positioned like weapons behind his chair. He skimmed my folders silently for almost 20 minutes while tapping a silver pen against legal pads covered in tight handwriting. "Your wife escalated emotionally," he said finally. "That gives you leverage if you stay disciplined." I leaned back slowly. "You think she plans divorce?" Mason flipped one page toward me. Emergency contact changes, hidden accounts, equity research, recurring third-party transfers. She is building contingency structures. Hearing another man confirm it removed the last layer of denial from my system. Mason adjusted his glasses and kept going. "Most affairs collapse under exposure. The dangerous ones evolve into financial strategy, especially when friends influence the narrative." Vanessa's face flashed through my head instantly. Wine glass. Smirk. "You need documented patience," Mason continued. "No confrontation. No emotional texts. Preserve image stability. Courts reward composure." He reviewed our assets for another hour. House. Retirement. Brokerage account. LLC protections. Then he stopped at the investment entity my father pushed me to create years ago. "Good move," he muttered. "Operational separation here gives you breathing room." For the first time in days, I felt something close to control return. Olivia thought she stood 3 moves ahead emotionally. She had no idea paperwork already changed the battlefield. Mason handed me a checklist before I left. Preserve communication logs. Track unusual expenditures. Secure digital backups outside marital property. Document timelines carefully. "One more thing," he added as I stood near the door. "Affairs fueled by peer validation usually spiral fast. People performing rebellion for friends take bigger risks than actual romantics." That sentence stayed with me during the drive home. Olivia no longer acted like a woman chasing love. She acted like someone auditioning for applause. I reached the house around 8:15. Empty kitchen. Empty living room. Olivia's location services still synced through the family cloud account she forgot to disable on her Apple Watch. I opened the tracker automatically, expecting Ember Room again. Instead, her signal pulsed from Ethan's residential address in Westfield Heights. My jaw tightened. Bold now. Comfortable now. I zoomed the map closer and noticed something else sitting beside her location pin. Vanessa's device appeared there too. 3 phones. Same house. Same Friday night. Then a new notification slid across my screen from our home security system. Front door opened. Olivia entered the house alone at 11:41 p.m., carrying a small white envelope pressed tightly against her chest. Olivia froze for half a second when she saw me sitting at the kitchen island. Tiny reaction. Barely visible. Most husbands would miss it completely. I watched her recover in real time. Smile first. Casual breathing second. Then she tucked the white envelope under her arm and walked toward the refrigerator like she had practiced the sequence already. "You are still awake?" she asked while reaching for bottled water. Her voice carried that same soft tone she used around neighbors and clients. Controlled warmth. Manufactured ease. I glanced at the clock above the stove. Long meeting. She twisted the cap slowly. Vanessa had another meltdown over her ex-husband. Lie delivered clean. Olivia used extra details whenever guilt entered the room. "Sounds exhausting," I said. Her shoulders loosened slightly. Relief. That told me something important. She still feared exposure. Fear meant leverage remained alive. I nodded toward the envelope tucked beside her purse. "What is that?" Another pause. Faster this time. "Just work stuff?" She moved toward the hallway immediately after answering. Distance strategy. End the conversation before more questions appear. I waited until the bedroom light shut off upstairs before checking the security feed archive from my phone. The front entry camera captured everything in high definition. Olivia stepped through the door carrying the envelope at 11:41 p.m. Then another detail caught my eye. She held her phone against her ear during entry. Audio transcription software converted fragments automatically through the smart security system. Most homeowners ignore the feature. I read the generated text twice. "He is getting suspicious." My jaw tightened hard enough to ache. Then another sentence loaded beneath it. "Vanessa says I need to move faster." Move faster. Faster toward what? Divorce? Asset extraction? Full relocation into Ethan's life. I zoomed the footage tighter. Olivia clutched the envelope like cash or legal paperwork. My stomach turned cold. At 1:13 a.m., I slipped downstairs and checked her purse while she slept. Receipts. Lip gloss. Office badge. Then the envelope. Thick paper. Downtown letterhead. Inside sat printed mortgage pre-qualification documents listing Ethan Cole and Olivia Carter as co-applicants for a condominium development 30 minutes north of the city. Purchase price, $780,000. Estimated move-in date, 4 months away. My vision blurred for a second before snapping back into focus. These people already planned life after destruction while sharing dinner with me 3 nights earlier. I photographed every page carefully and returned the documents exactly as I found them. Then I noticed one final sheet folded behind the mortgage estimate. A draft budget, combined income projections, shared living expenses, future travel goals. Olivia wrote notes in blue ink along the margins. Daniel handles most retirement planning already. Needs smoother exit timing. House equity should cover transition. Transition. That word hit harder than affair messages or hotel receipts. Because transition sounds strategic. Calm. Efficient. She turned our marriage into a business liquidation plan. I walked into my home office and locked the door quietly behind me. 14 years together reduced into bullet points and projected cash flow. Anger wanted control of my body right then. Mason's voice cut through the noise instead. Document patience. Preserve composure. I opened my laptop and transferred every file into encrypted storage before drafting a timeline chart with exact dates tied to financial behavior changes. Affairs collapse emotionally. Courts operate through sequence. Sequence wins. Around 2:30 in the morning, another notification flashed across my monitor from the cloud sync account I still accessed through Olivia's forgotten tablet permissions. New email draft saved automatically. Sender, Olivia Carter. Recipient, Ethan Cole. Subject line, I think Daniel knows. Paranoia changes people faster than guilt ever does. Olivia started checking my face every morning like she expected hidden cameras behind my eyes. Tiny pauses crept into her routines. She stopped leaving her phone unattended near me. Cleared browser history twice a day now instead of once a week. Switched messaging apps. Locked herself inside the laundry room for private calls. The irony almost made me laugh. She spent months building deception while I trusted her completely. Then one small shift in my behavior turned her into a nervous accountant auditing every transaction in her own life. I leaned into it carefully. Slight distance. Controlled silence. Enough. Pressure to keep her unstable without triggering confrontation. Monday night, I skipped our usual television routine and stayed inside my office reviewing spreadsheets until after midnight. Olivia hovered near the doorway, twice pretending to look for chargers. Everything okay? She asked eventually. I kept typing for another 3 seconds before answering. Just cleaning up finances. Her expression tightened instantly. Tiny movement around the mouth. Fear again. Why? She asked too fast. I looked up slowly. Interest rates are shifting. Figured I should reorganize a few things. She nodded, but her eyes stayed fixed on my monitor. Calculating. That was the first moment I realized Olivia feared losing resources more than losing me. The next morning, she transferred another $4,000 into her personal account before 10 a.m. I received instant alerts through the brokerage system. Panic spending. Reactive movement. Exactly what Mason predicted. People under pressure reveal priorities quickly. Love stays calm. Survival rushes. I spent lunch break inside a private banking office downtown, opening a separate high-yield reserve account tied exclusively to the LLC structure my father helped establish years earlier. Clean firewall. Protected operating funds. Every signature felt strangely peaceful. Across the desk, the banker smiled politely while explaining transfer protections and beneficiary updates. Meanwhile, my marriage collapsed in silence 15 miles away. By Wednesday, Olivia escalated further. She volunteered for a marketing retreat the following weekend. 3 nights. Mountain resort outside Asheville. Corporate expense account. I checked the registration records through her synced email archive 30 minutes later. Ethan Cole booked the same resort suite category under his own reservation. 2 adjoining executive rooms upgraded through loyalty points. Sloppy. Affairs always grow arrogant after the secrecy phase succeeds. Confidence kills caution faster than desire ever does. That evening, Olivia cooked dinner for the first time in weeks. Steak. Roasted potatoes. Expensive wine she usually saved for holidays. Performance mode again. She laughed, harder than normal, touched my arm more often, asked about work projects she never cared about before. I recognized the strategy instantly. Reassurance before betrayal. Criminals revisit innocence right before major theft because part of them still wants absolution. You seem distant lately, she said while slicing into her steak. I swallowed slowly before answering. Busy quarter. She studied my face another second too long. Vanessa thinks couples should communicate more directly. There it was. Vanessa again. That woman moved through our marriage like gasoline searching for a match. I leaned back calmly. Vanessa also divorced 2 husbands in 6 years. Olivia's fork stopped moving. Silence spread across the table sharp as broken glass. Then she forced a smile. That was unfair. I nodded once. Probably. Her shoulders relaxed slightly after that. She still believed she controlled the emotional temperature inside this house. That belief protected me. At 11:18 p.m., another cloud sync notification flashed across my encrypted tablet while Olivia showered upstairs. New message thread. Ethan Cole. 3 unread texts. I opened the preview carefully. First message. Mortgage broker approved everything today. Second message. Vanessa says Daniel looks checked out already. Then the third one loaded across the screen and changed the entire situation. After Asheville, you need to tell him about the baby plans. The word baby sat inside my head like a live grenade with the pin halfway out. I stared at the message preview for almost a full minute before locking the tablet screen and setting it face down on my desk. Olivia stepped out of the shower 2 minutes later wrapped in a cream bathrobe, skin glowing from steam, humming softly like she still lived inside an ordinary marriage. You are working late again? She asked while drying her hair with a towel. I looked up slowly. Quarter-end reports. Another lie meeting another lie. We spoke fluent deception now. She climbed into bed carrying her phone against her chest and angled the screen away from me automatically. Reflex at this point. Instinct. The paranoia had fully infected her system. She feared exposure. Because Ethan clearly pushed timelines faster than she expected. That changed everything. Affairs survive fantasy. Pressure destroys them. Thursday morning, I forwarded the screenshots to Mason through encrypted transfer before sunrise. His response arrived 12 minutes later. Pregnancy discussions create legal urgency. We accelerate preparation immediately. I spent the next 4 hours inside meetings pretending to care about hospital procurement forecasts while secretly restructuring my entire future. Beneficiary updates, insurance modifications, password rotations, document transfers into protected storage. Every click felt surgical. Precise cuts preserve healthy tissue. Emotional people swing wildly. Strategic people isolate damage. Around 1 in the afternoon, Olivia called unexpectedly. Hey, she said softly. You free for lunch tomorrow? Her voice carried nervous energy beneath the sweetness. I leaned back in my office chair, studying the ceiling tiles while answering. Depends. Small word. Heavy impact. Silence stretched across the line. Then she recovered quickly. I just miss you lately. There it was again. Reassurance campaign. Guilt always reaches for nostalgia once consequences appear on the horizon. Tomorrow is packed, I said calmly. Maybe next week. Another silence. Longer this time. I could practically hear her recalculating timelines in real time. Okay, she whispered before ending the call. 30 seconds later, my cloud sync tracker lit up with outgoing messages between Olivia and Vanessa. He feels different. More distant. Vanessa replied almost immediately. Push harder. Men pull away before they break. Stay focused. Stay focused. Like destroying a marriage required discipline instead of conscience. By evening, Olivia transformed into someone almost frantic beneath the surface polish. She ordered expensive takeout from my favorite steakhouse. Opened a bottle of 12-year bourbon she once called too expensive for weekdays. Sat beside me on the couch instead of scrolling endlessly through social media. The performance felt desperate now, like a politician smiling during a corruption investigation. You remember Charleston? She asked suddenly while tracing circles against her wine glass. Our honeymoon hotel. I nodded once. You carried me upstairs because my heels were killing me. Her smile flickered weakly. You used to look at me like I was your whole world. That line almost hurt until I realized something ugly underneath it. Olivia missed validation more than love. She missed certainty. She missed access to safety while chasing excitement somewhere else. I studied her quietly for several seconds before answering. People change. Her face tightened instantly. Tiny crack in the mask. Then her phone buzzed against the couch cushion. One glance at the screen drained color from her cheeks so fast it looked physical. She grabbed the device too late. I already saw the sender name reflected in the dark television screen across the room. Ethan. Then another message preview appeared beneath his name before she could hide it. The test came back positive. Olivia locked her phone instantly after the message appeared, but panic already flooded her face. Real panic this time. Raw. Unscripted. Her breathing shortened. Fingers tightened around the wine glass hard enough to leave pale marks across her knuckles. I stayed still on the couch watching her fight for control. Everything okay? I asked calmly. She swallowed once before answering. Work stuff. Weak lie. Sloppy delivery. Fear destroys precision faster than alcohol ever could. I nodded slowly and stood from the couch. I am heading upstairs. Olivia stared at me like she expected another question. Another reaction. Another emotional crack she could measure. Instead, she got silence. That unsettled her more than anger ever would have. I closed the bedroom door behind me and waited exactly 90 seconds before opening the cloud sync panel on my encrypted tablet. New outgoing messages loaded almost immediately. Olivia, why would you text me that? Ethan, you said he barely pays attention anymore. Olivia, he looked right at my screen. Ethan, then tell him after Asheville. We stick to the plan. Plan. Again with that word. These people treated my life like a corporate merger timeline. Then another message appeared from Olivia. I cannot do this tonight. Ethan responded faster this time. Vanessa says you are spiraling. Calm down. I leaned back against the headboard reading every line twice while something cold settled into my chest. Vanessa orchestrated more than emotional encouragement. She coordinated strategy, messaging, timing, pressure. She wanted Olivia fully detached before consequences arrived. Around midnight, Olivia entered the bedroom quietly and slid under the covers beside me. Her body felt tense beneath the blanket. Alert, hyper-aware. I kept my breathing slow and steady until she whispered into the darkness. Do you ever think people outgrow each other? There it was. The soft launch. Relationship language filtered through therapy podcasts and bitter wine nights. I stared at the ceiling for several seconds before answering. Sometimes people destroy things first and call it growth after. Silence followed immediately. Heavy silence. Olivia shifted beside me. That sounds harsh. I turned toward her slowly. Truth usually does. Her eyes searched my face hard enough to leave fingerprints. For one dangerous second, I thought she might confess everything right there. Ethan, the condo, the mortgage, the pregnancy discussions. Instead, she rolled away quietly and pretended sleep arrived naturally. By morning, her paranoia reached full speed. She canceled the Asheville trip before breakfast, claimed a scheduling conflict, then spent 20 straight minutes inside the guest bathroom whispering into her phone. Through the smart vent audio pickup tied into our home automation system, I caught fragments clearly enough. He knows something. No, his behavior changed weeks ago. I cannot blow up my life over this. Ethan's voice came through faintly afterward. Calm, detached, then make a decision fast. That tone told me everything. Ethan enjoyed the fantasy version of Olivia. Excitement, secrecy, ego. Real consequences already irritated him. By noon, another alert hit my phone from our shared brokerage account. Olivia attempted to initiate a $40,000 transfer into her personal checking line. The request failed automatically because I changed authorization settings too. Days earlier. 3 minutes later, my phone rang. Olivia, first called during work hours in months. Hey, she said carefully. The account froze or something. I opened a spreadsheet casually while answering. Fraud department upgraded security thresholds this week. Can you fix it? There it was again. Fear under the question. I typed random numbers into the keyboard slowly enough to force silence. Depends what the transfer was for. Olivia hesitated too long. Then came the answer that changed the entire balance of power between us. I was trying to help Ethan with a down payment. The line went silent after Olivia admitted where the money was going. I leaned back in my office chair staring through the glass wall of the conference room while employees moved through quarterly reports outside like ordinary life still existed. Daniel? She asked carefully. Say something. I rubbed my thumb across the edge of my wedding ring before answering. How much does Ethan need? Her breathing hitched softly through the speaker. She expected rage. Accusations. Maybe shouting. Calm frightened her more. It is temporary, she said quickly. He is waiting on bonus payouts. I closed my eyes for 1 second. 38-year-old senior sales director. Condo applications. Secret pregnancy discussions. Yet somehow Ethan still needed money from another man's marriage to finance his future. The whole fantasy suddenly looked smaller. Cheap even. I will handle the transfer tonight, I said quietly. Olivia released a shaky breath that sounded almost relieved. Thank you. Then she added the sentence that finally killed whatever remained between us. I knew you would understand eventually. Eventually. Like betrayal was just emotional maturity waiting for permission. I ended the call and forwarded the recorded conversation directly to Mason. 30 minutes later, he called me personally. You have enough now, he said flatly. Financial intent, affair evidence, planned relocation, concealed transfers. Clean case. I stared at my reflection in the dark monitor beside my desk. Same face. Same life. Yet everything underneath it had already shifted. Then let us finish this cleanly, I answered. That night, I came home before Olivia for the first time in weeks. I packed one suitcase carefully. Jeans, work shirts, laptop, financial folders, hard drives containing every screenshot, transfer log, synced message, and mortgage document. Then I walked room by room through the house we built together. Family photos, Charleston honeymoon frame, backyard barbecue pictures, Christmas cards taped beside the refrigerator. Strange how betrayal turns memories into evidence exhibits. At 7:14 p.m., Olivia pulled into the driveway carrying takeout bags and a rehearsed smile that disappeared the second she saw the suitcase beside the stairs. What is this? She whispered. I handed her a thick manila envelope before answering. Divorce filing draft. Asset separation notices. Copies of the condo paperwork. Mortgage application. Screenshots from Ethan. Bank transfer attempts. Her hand started shaking halfway through the stack. Daniel. I raised my hand gently. Save it. Tears filled her eyes instantly now. Real tears this time. Fear. Collapse. Consequences finally entering the room. I was confused, she stammered. Vanessa kept saying. I cut her off softly. Vanessa will not sit beside you in court. Silence crushed the kitchen after that. Olivia looked smaller somehow, standing there clutching papers against her chest like they might stop reality from moving forward. You tracked all this? She asked weakly. I nodded once. You tracked me first. Financially. Emotionally. Legally. Her face crumpled completely. I never wanted to hurt you. That line almost made me laugh. People say that after loading the weapon slowly for months. I picked up my suitcase and moved toward the front door. Olivia stepped forward suddenly. Where are you going? I opened the door calmly. Somewhere peaceful. She started crying harder then. Full panic now. Please do not leave like this. I looked back at her one final time. Same green eyes. Same woman who once danced barefoot with me inside our first apartment kitchen while we ate cheap Chinese takeout from paper cartons. Somewhere along the line, she traded stability for excitement and mistook attention for love. You listened to people who destroy homes for entertainment, I said quietly. Now you get to watch them leave after the fire starts. I walked outside before she could answer. My phone buzzed once as I loaded the suitcase into my truck. New message from Ethan Cole. 3 words only. She told you. I stared at the screen for a long second before deleting the message completely. Then I drove away, understanding something most men learn too late. Betrayal rarely enters through locked doors. It arrives through trusted voices whispering that loyalty feels boring.